Kashmir is so beautiful. It's hard to put into words just how majestic this place is. The natural beauty in Kashmir is limitless, but the vegan options are limited. Just look at these maps of vegan restaurants in Kashmir. We have never seen maps as empty as these. So, how did this vegan adventure in Kashmir turn out? Let's find out.
We landed in Srinagar airport and made our way to Gulmarg, and this was the view from our beautiful cottage. For dinner, we had a yellow dal fry, mutter mushroom, and tawa roti. The roti was served one at a time, straight from the tawa. When you're served the humble roti like this, it elevates it to one of the best breads ever. We loved our meal. Next morning, we had puri bhaji. Bhaji is a simple potato curry and puri is a deep fried flatbread. Puris are such an indulgence, and when it's served hot and fresh, there are few culinary pleasures that can compare. We then took a joyride in a rickshaw to check out some of the sites close to the hotel. This nearby park reminded us of the best parts of our alpine vacations in Germany and Slovenia. For dinner, we got a fried rice with a simple mushroom stir fry. It was very good. We got a couple of things for breakfast the next day. The aloo parathas were hot and tasty. The poha was just okay. For lunch, we went to the Khyber retreat. We wanted a break from North Indian food as it can be quite heavy on the stomach. We got the nachos without the cheese. The nachos were nice, the salsa was fresh, and it was what we were craving. Something light and refreshing. The cold coffee was very nice. Khyber really nailed the almond milk cold coffee. Vidhi absolutely loved it. The burger presented a bit of a challenge because we wanted it without the cheese and the mayo. The first time around, it came with the cheese, but the waiter spotted it even before we did and returned it. When the burger finally did come, it was nice. But honestly, our heads had gone a bit. The deed was done and the food was wasted. What we desperately tried to avoid happened, and there was nothing we could do. By the time we were back to the hotel, it had started raining. It's an Indian tradition to immediately order pakoras when you're traveling and it starts raining. We lived up to the cliche, and our chef lived up to the expectations. Battered, fried, and seasoned to perfection. It's not always bad to be a cliche. By this point, chef could read us like a book. He suggested a typical Kashmiri dinner. The haq saag was incredible. The rajma was really good too, a bit spicy for us, but we still licked the bowl clean. Hot rotis and rice were the carbs of excellence this time. The staff was super friendly. Indian hospitality is incredible, but Kashmiri hospitality might be at a different level. We were then off to Pahalgam. We checked into the freshwater resort and had lunch in their beautiful garden by the river. We got a couple of juices and just look at this place. It was a tiny slice of heaven. Breezy, not too hot, not too cold, flowers of every color, green grass and blue skies. The chili garlic potatoes were really nice, but the hakka noodles were too ketchupy.
We ordered a mushroom and pea stir fry from the Chinese section of the menu. Assuming it was a Chinese dish, we hadn't mentioned our restrictions. But when the dish was served, it turned out to be a creamy gravy Indian preparation. We had a nice long chat with the waiter in the evening explaining our situation. He really got it, and everything was smoother from this point on.
For dinner, we got a chana masala, a mushroom gravy, and hot rotis and parathas. A simple and tasty meal. Next morning, we had some chana bhatura. Bhatura is just outrageous. It's what happens when you outdo a puri. It's a puri, but the dough is leavened with yeast before it's fried. It is literal deep fried bread and it comes in a size that's as big as your face. We added a couple of pieces of watermelons to the plate to feel less guilty. We were then off to the glorious Betab Valley. It felt like a cross between the tropical paradise of Thailand and the might of an alpine forest in the same frame. It was incredible and it took our breath away. For lunch, we got a mushroom curry, masala kaju, veg cutlets, and a portion of rice. The masala kaju was so good. It's fried cashew nuts with onions, tomatoes, red chili powder, and lemon juice. You can't go to the mountains in India and not have a hot Maggi in the cold weather. Vidhi loves Maggi and she really enjoyed this dinner. We then headed to the gorgeous Aru Valley. Some of these landscapes are barely believable. They are massive and intimidating, but also colorful and perfect like a postcard. For lunch, we went back to a strategy we had tried earlier. We picked a hotel with a great location and went to their restaurant. This time we asked our cabbie for a recommendation and he suggested the Radisson. The cold coffee with almond milk was very good. This was Vidhi's birthday and just look at the birthday girl enjoying her cold coffee. These high-end hotels seem to be the only places that have non-dairy milk options in Kashmir. We tried a pizza without cheese. It was just okay. The spring rolls were the star of the show. These might have been the best spring rolls we've had since our trip to Vietnam. We liked it so much that we got another portion after we were done with our meal. After lunch, we returned to the beautiful Betab Valley. It might be the most spectacular park I have ever been to. There were locals picnicking as far as the eye could see. It was such a great vibe. For dinner, we went back to the hotel. It was a room service dinner. We got the veg cutlets again. We also got a green salad and a portion of pakoras. The next day, I woke up with a bit of a heavy stomach. All that indulgent food had finally caught up with this old man. Vidhi had a couple of parathas. We then headed to Srinagar. We checked into his hostel and walked to the Nutshell. The spring rolls were good and the noodles were excellent. We really enjoyed this meal. For breakfast, we went to the much talked about Krishna Vaishno Dhaba. The typical South Indian breakfast is much lighter on the body than the typical North Indian breakfast. But the food here was very disappointing. The dosa and uttapam were far away from what they should be. We then got a tandoori aloo paratha, which was very nice. For lunch, we leaned on our hotel hack. The Vivanta has an amazing location and the Infinity Cafe had the best view of the entire property. We got another almond milk cold coffee, which was nice. The Thai green curry was exceptional. It was one of our favorite meals of the entire trip. Fancy hotels generally serve fancy looking food that's quite bland, but this dish was so good. For dinner, we were back to the Nutshell for more experiments. We got a portion of masala papad, a coriander spiced mushroom tikka, and some garlic bread with olive oil. Everything was very nice. The staff was very friendly and always accommodated our weird requests. Before our concluding thoughts, it's important to note that there's a widespread use of horses as a means of transport in Kashmir. You can check out this excellent video by the Bite-Sized Vegan to see why this is not vegan. You can easily access most of the great spots by using a vehicle or simply by walking.
These are few of the strategies that worked really well for us. Talking to chefs, waiters, and managers really helped. Even if there is a language barrier, give this a shot. Someone will definitely understand and help you out. Once they are on your team, things become much easier. The hotel hack worked well for us. They usually had a non-dairy milk option, and this way we also got to try different cuisines. Our low expectation also played a massive role in our enjoyment of all our meals. We felt lucky and grateful every time we got something tasty. This makes a huge difference in every walk of life.
The most important lesson for me was that mistakes happen. If you're willing to take a chance and make a mistake, then there's a big world out there full of amazing food and amazing people. So if you're planning a trip to Kashmir, it's time to get very excited.